Have you ever been completely lost, with no signal, no people, and no idea where you are? Imagine your car breaking down in the middle of nowhere, and the only people you saw earlier suddenly know exactly where to find you. About 15 years ago, I was in my early 20s, chasing a dream of becoming a stand-up comedian. I wasn't good at school, but I knew how to make people laugh. So instead of choosing a normal life, I chose the stage, even if it meant failing over and over again. The truth is, stand-up comedy is brutal when you're unknown. No money, long drives, small crowds. But every once in a while, someone laughs, and that feeling keeps you going. That's why I kept traveling to different towns, chasing any chance to perform. One night, I got an opportunity that felt bigger than the rest, a competition 5 hours away, with real comedians as judges. It felt like my one shot. I left early, just in case I got lost. And somehow, I still did. The roads became emptier, the signs disappeared, and my directions stopped making sense. Eventually, I came across a small town, or at least something that looked like one. A few broken buildings, an old gas station, and a group of people standing outside, watching. I walked up to them and asked for directions. The conversation felt off. They gave short answers, barely looking at me. Eventually, they told me to keep driving straight and I'd find my way. But while I was filling my gas tank, I noticed something strange. They were all staring at me. Not talking, not moving, just staring. I left as fast as I could, trying to shake the feeling. Not long after, a white pickup truck sped past me. I didn't think much of it. But about an hour later, as the sun disappeared and the road turned completely dark, everything changed. A loud sound hit from under my car, and I lost control. When I stepped out, I saw both front tires destroyed. Not just flat, ruined. When I looked closer, I saw nails stuck deep inside them. That's when the fear hit me. This wasn't bad luck. Someone had done this. And I was completely alone. I tried using my phone, but there was no signal. I called a friend and tried to explain where I was, hoping he could find me. Then, I saw headlights in the distance behind me. They stopped. Just stayed there. Watching. Minutes passed, and they didn't move. Then slowly, the lights started moving closer. At the same time, another vehicle appeared in front of me. My heart dropped. I was trapped. As the car behind me got closer, I recognized it. The same white pickup truck from earlier. Suddenly, someone banged on my window. It was one of the men from the gas station. He tried to open my door, pulling hard, then hitting the glass. Another man moved to the other side of the car. They weren't talking, just making strange sounds. Then one of them stopped, looked directly at me, and started screaming. I didn't think. I just acted. I pushed the door open, ran into the woods, and dropped to the ground, staying as still as I could. I heard them run past me, chasing where they thought I went. When it was quiet, I ran back, grabbed my things, and kept running down the road. I never saw them again. But I'll never forget one thing: they were never trying to help. And if I had stayed, even for a few more minutes, I don't think I'd be here today. Have you ever ignored that quiet feeling telling you not to go somewhere? That small voice that says, "Leave?" What if you don't listen, and by the time you realize something is wrong, it's already too late? Last summer, what started as a simple road trip with my two friends turned into something I still think about almost every night. At the time, both me and my friend Sarah had just gone through bad breakups. It was messy, emotional, and exhausting. Our friend Alyssa suggested a cross-country trip to clear our minds. She was always chasing adventure, always looking for something new. And for once, I said yes without overthinking it. A few days into the trip, we passed something strange. An old barn, sitting alone in the middle of nowhere. The land around it was overgrown, like no one had touched it in years. Alyssa immediately wanted to stop and explore, but something about it didn't feel right to me. We argued for a few minutes, but eventually we drove away. Still, Alyssa kept bringing it up. Over and over again. At first, it felt like a joke. But the more she mentioned it, the more it started to feel like she couldn't let it go. About a week later, on our way back, she asked again. This time, I agreed. I don't know why. Maybe I had gotten too comfortable. Maybe I ignored my instincts. We arrived in the late afternoon, parked a short distance away, and walked toward the barn. Inside, it felt wrong. There was old equipment everywhere, but none of it looked familiar. It didn't look like normal farming tools. Some of it looked strange, almost like it belonged somewhere else. The air felt heavy, like the place hadn't been empty for as long as it looked. Next to the barn was a small farmhouse. The door was stuck, so we had to force it open. Inside, it was almost empty. Just a small table and a chair. But something about it felt sad. Like people used to live there, and just disappeared. As the sun went down, Alyssa made a suggestion that should have been an obvious no. She wanted us to stay the night. And somehow, we agreed. We ate, talked, laughed, and tried to treat it like an adventure. But deep down, I couldn't fully relax. Sometime around 3 a.m., I woke up. I thought I heard someone whisper as a shh. I sat up, listening. Nothing. Then suddenly, a loud bang hit the door. All of us woke up. Then came soft tapping at the window, followed by more banging. This wasn't the wind. Someone was outside. The door slowly opened, and 3 people walked in. They didn't rush. They didn't speak. They just stared. Then they put on strange masks, and started moving closer. The more scared we got, the louder they became. When we screamed, they screamed back. We ran the first chance we got and didn't stop until we reached the car. They never chased us. And that's what still bothers me, because we had explored that place earlier. There was no one there. So where did they come from? And how long had they been watching us? Have you ever felt like someone was watching you, even when there's no one around? Not a feeling you can explain, just something you know. Now imagine being miles away from anyone, in complete darkness, and realizing that feeling might actually be real. A few years ago, what was supposed to be the happiest trip of my life almost turned into the worst night I've ever lived through. My girlfriend and I were on a road trip across the country. I had a plan, a big one. I was going to propose. We spent nights sleeping in the back of my truck, under the open sky. It felt simple, peaceful, like nothing could go wrong. But there was one problem. She was a very light sleeper. Every sound woke her up. And she had a deep fear of bears. Every noise at night, she thought it was something coming for us. A few days into the trip, I proposed, and she said yes. It was perfect. But the next morning, she looked exhausted. When I asked why, she told me something that didn't sit right. She said she heard footsteps around the truck during the night, and quiet mumbling. Before we left, she showed me something in the dirt. A mark that looked like a footprint. I tried to explain it away, but she was sure it wasn't hers. I checked the truck, and everything seemed normal. But later, I noticed my planner had been moved, open to the page with our travel plans. That night was our last night out there. I could tell she was still nervous, so I stayed awake while she fell asleep. Around midnight, she finally rested. Everything was quiet, almost too quiet. Then I heard it. A sound outside the truck. Slow, heavy movement. I carefully looked over the edge, and saw someone. A small figure in a hood, walking slowly, mumbling to themselves. I stayed quiet and wrote a message on my phone for her, "Don't make a sound. Someone is outside." I woke her gently and handed her the keys. Then I climbed out of the truck, expecting to face whoever it was. But the moment I stepped down, something hit my leg hard. I fell. The person had been hiding under the truck. They came out screaming and swinging wildly. I backed away, trying to stay out of reach, while shouting for her to start the truck. She managed to start the truck just in time. As the headlights hit the figure, I finally saw her face. It was my ex, someone I hadn't seen in years. Someone I thought was long gone. We drove away and called the police. She later admitted everything, even said she wanted to harm my fiancé. It's been years since that night. But sometimes, when it's quiet, I still think about one thing. She found us in the middle of nowhere. Which means she was following us long before we ever realized we weren't alone.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe my channel. See you on next videos. Till then, goodbye.